This After Effects tutorial is sponsored by Skillshare. Hey guys, what's up? I am Nikhil from 𝗕𝗲𝗺𝗠𝗏𝑚otions.com and welcome back to this brand new After Effects tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to create a 3D film strip slide animation inside of After Effects using some very easy steps and techniques. This kind of animation can be a really cool way to showcase your photos or videos that you may have captured during a vacation or a trip, or just to showcase your photography skills. Basically, it adds a sense of emotion and feeling to your photos when you present it through this kind of animation style. So without any further ado, let's jump into After Effects and get started. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. Let's start by creating a new composition. Let's go with 1920 by 1080 for our main comp. I'll call this final for our final composition. 10 seconds long. Hit OK. Now first comp we need to create is our reel design. So here I have few assets and you can download the complete project file from the link in the description below. It's absolutely free. So here you can see we have a film strip which we will be using for this tutorial. So let's create a new composition, call this reel, that is a film strip. You can call it whatever that you want. And for the width, I'm going to set this to around 5000 and I'm going to hit OK. Let's drag and drop in the film reel PNG that we have, just like so. So here we have it. Now I want to extend this to the right and the left of the composition. So to do that, I will be going into effects and preset and add a effect called 𝗕𝗳𝗺𝗏𝗍𝗍 Reptile. Let's drag and drop it. There we go. Let's increase the right side, just like so. Let's go to around 1700 and also go with 1700 for this one as well. Then let's go back into our project panel and create image placeholders. You can also use videos if you want to. I'll call this M_01 for media_01. Let's set this to 1920 by 1080. And then you can use any images that you want to use. I will be using this nice images that I got from Unsplash. Looks pretty nice. Let's select the composition, hit Ctrl D 2 times to create more 2 copies. So we have media 1, 2 and 3. Let's open them up as well. And I can delete the image. Let's add a second image. I can just hit S and scale that down. Reframe it. Let's go into M3. Delete that and drag the third image. Let's scale that down and reframe it if you need to. Then I'm going to go back into my main reel composition and let's drag and drop in the image compositions, that is media 1, 2 and 3. Let's put this at the back. Alright, for the second one I'm going to drag this right over here, and for the third one I'll drag it right over here. Now as you can see, obviously we need to reframe this, so I can jump into the image comp. Let's move this a bit. Let's see. So our framing is proper. For the first one I'll move this a bit, the second one a bit as well. Alright, so I like the framing. Now let's select the first one and create a mask. So I'll select the rectangle tool and simply just create a mask like so. There we go. I can select the second one and let's create a mask like that. Also, I'm going to move this a bit to the right using the arrow keys so it fills up the reel properly. I can hit V, select this mask points. Oh, make sure you select the mask path, select the mask points, and using the arrow keys you can bring down the mask just like so. And finally for the third one, let's select it, select the rectangle tool to create a mask and simply create a mask like that. There we go. Now if I want, I can also add some nice text to this, which I will be adding. So let's select the text tool, and for the font I will be going with Integral. You're free to use any font that you want. I'm going to go with an integral bold. Let's type in some text. I'll call this capture memories. Capture. First of all, let's make this white so we can see what's happening here. And let's increase the size, bring down the kerning to 0. Okay, so capture, hit Control D to duplicate it, call this memories. And bring down the size. Let's increase the kerning a bit. There we go. So that is looking pretty nice. Let's create some duplicates of this. So hit Control D, pull this at the top. Let's add this right over. Oh, make sure I move this just like that. Maybe I'll place it maybe somewhere around there for a different position. Call this record movements. God. Moments. And finally I'll duplicate this again. So hit Control D, put this at the top, and I can just move this like so. Oh, so something like that. And let's change the text, call this friends forever. Looking good. Hold on a second. Before we proceed further with this tutorial, I just want to take a minute and talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare, because I want to make some money so I can buy a new monitor because I just broke my old one. Anyways, Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. Skillshare offers thousands of inspiring classes for creatives and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. Skillshare offers class designed for real life, so you can move your creative journey forward without putting life on hold. You can check out this animation course for motion design on Skillshare to learn more about motion graphics and animation. Skillshare is also incredibly affordable, especially when compared to pricey in-person classes and workshops. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below will get access to 2 free months of premium membership to Skillshare. Now I can also add some detail to the reel. At the moment it looks pretty blank. So what I can do is, let's select the text from here, hit Control D, and let's pull this right over here, make this black, and add some details like, let's say, play, bring down the kerning, bring down the size, maybe something like so, and place it into the position that we want. Hit Control D, let's place this one right here, hit Control D again and place this one, oh, just like so. Now if you want, you can add some more detail if you want to, but I think that looks good for now. Let's move forward with this tutorial. Let's go back into our final composition and drag and drop in the main reel comp just like so. Let's add a new camera to this. 50mm should be good. Hit OK. Then let's create a new null object. I'm going to align the null object into the center. And if you don't find this align tab, you can go into Windows and there you can just check it on. Let's select the null. Now to center the anchor point, you can hold Control and double click on the pan behind tool. That way it's gonna center up the anchor point. Make it 3D, so I can just click on this icon and then parent the camera to the null object. If you don't see this parent option, you can click right here, columns, and there you'll find parent and link. Let's call this C control, that is cam control, so you can easily control the camera movement. And let's push this back into the Z space just like so. It's somewhere around there. And I'm going to go at 1 second and 10 frames, and let's animate the film strip. So I'll select the film strip, hit R, and let's rotate this a bit, just a touch, maybe -4 or something, and create a keyframe on the position. So select it, hit P, create a keyframe on the position, go back, and let's bring that out of the frame just like so. So basically we have this nice simple animation, but we also want to add a nice simple handheld feel to the camera. So I'll select the cam control, hit P, create a keyframe on the position, hold Alt and click on the stopwatch, and let's add a wiggle expression to add a nice handheld feel to this. So 3,7 works good, and let's see how it looks. So the wiggle is nice, but the movement is not the way I like it to be. So what I'm going to do is select the reel, hit U so we can see the keyframes. So I'm going to select the keyframes, hit F9, go into the graph editor, right click and select edit speed graph, and let's select this point and drag the handle to the left just like so. And now we have this nice animation. As you can see, looks pretty cool. Now we want to add some nice background to this as well, so I'll create a new solid, hit Ctrl Y, let's call this BG for a background, put this at the back. Then I can go into my assets folder and let's drag in the texture that we have. Let's put this and hit T and bring down the opacity to 60. That looks much better. Also we can add a nice drop shadow onto our reel. So I'll go into effects and preset, type in a drop shadow, double click, and let's bring down the distance to 0 and increase the softness really high. Or maybe I'll add a distance of I'll set this to 90, and let's add a little bit of distance, something around there looks good. Bring down the opacity really low, something like so, and play around with the distance a bit. So we have a little bit of depth into the scene, but I think I'll increase the softness really high, something like so. All right, and now what I'm going to do is select the reel, hit Ctrl D, let's hit U and get rid of the position animation, hit R and rotate it in a different direction. Let's hit P and push this back in the Z space just like so, really far away, and I can place it maybe somewhere around there. Also one more thing that I want to do, okay, that is looking good. Also one more thing that I would like to add is select the reel, that is this one. Make sure you turn a let's go ahead and add a different color to our main reel. So I'll keep it something like an orange, or maybe a yellow should work good. And for this one I'll go with a nice red color. So this is our main reel and this is the background reel animation that we are doing. So let's go ahead and add a 𝗓𝗓𝗺𝗫𝗫 on this one as well. So I'll delete the drop shadow from this and let's add a 𝗓𝗓𝗺𝗫𝗫 on this reel. Let's increase the expand left to around 1000. So if I move this, you can see we have this extended reel. Maybe I'll increase this to around 3000. That should be much better. So you can see we have a nice long strip. So I'll keep it around there. Maybe increase this to 5000. Okay. So I'll keep it as it is for now. Then let's duplicate this, hit Ctrl D, and I'm going to hit R and rotate this in a different position. So I'll keep it somewhere around there, and also hit P, bring this a bit closer to the camera. Hit R and let's place it just like so. Maybe a bit closer. So it's kind of a abstract thing. You can take your time and place it accordingly the way you want. I think this is looking good. Let's select this again, hit Ctrl D, hit R, and let's rotate this in a different position. Hit P and push this back, really back, maybe in the Z space. Let's position this, let's increase this, that is the repetition basically, and I'm going to place this something like so. Now if I go into my camera, hit U 2 times to reveal the properties, and let's actually go into the camera options. Let's turn on depth of field, and if I increase my aperture to around 250 and the blur amount to 200, let's see what we get. We get this really nice depth into the scene. If I hit Ctrl Shift H to hide this, you can see we get this really nice depth. Now I can also add a little bit of fake blur basically fake feel of depth by adding a blur to this texture. So I'll add maybe something like a fast blur, just a little of 10 should work good. Repeat edge pixels. So as you can see, it's looking pretty nice. We have this nice camera movement as well. Maybe I can duplicate this, hit Control D, hit P, and push this closer to the camera, be nice and close, and rotate this. So I'll rotate, make sure I hit Control Shift H so I can see the parameters that we have. So right over here I can rotate this, and let's place this somewhere on there so we get a nice sense of depth as well. I can hit Control D again and maybe add one right here and rotate this in a different position, maybe just to add some randomness, something like so. So the final frame is looking pretty nice. Let's create a new adjustment layer, call this CC for color correction, and the first thing that I will be adding is the Tritone color. Alright, and bring up the blend with original to around 65%. That looks much better. As you can see, it adds a nice warm feeling to this. I guess let's go around maybe something like 75, looks much better. And finally I'll add a curves to this, one of my favorite effect, just to add some nice contrast, and a sharpen as well. So let's set this up to 20. That is looking much better. So we have our first animation. Now let's add the second animation to our main slide. So I'll select the reel, hit U. I'm gonna go to 2 seconds. Let's pull this keyframe to 1 second actually. Let's go to 2 seconds, create a keyframe by hitting on this diamond kind of an icon. Go to 3 seconds. Move the position just like so. And as you can see, our reel ends right here. So I can add a 𝗕𝗳𝗄𝗧𝗺𝗍𝗍 again and increase the left side. Okay, I need to remove the drop shadow. Let's place this below the 𝗕𝗳𝗄𝗧𝗺𝗍𝗍. So I'll place it or frame it just like so. And also I will add a little bit of rotation. So select this, hit R, create a keyframe on the Z rotation, hit U. And let's go right here. Let's rotate this in a different direction. So we have something like this. Now one thing that I want to do is select all the keyframes and hit F9 for now, and later on we will add a smooth animation. So something like this. Maybe it's a bit too much. I'll go something like 2. Then let's go to 4 second, create a keyframe on the position and the Z rotation. Go to 5 second and let's pull this to our third image and increase the span from left as well. And let's rotate this just a bit, maybe something like 0 should be fine. We have a nice rotation. So the first animation, the second, and the third. So I'll select all the keyframes, hit F9, and let's use the keyframe wingman, which is a free script. You can do this manually as well, but using keyframe wingman is much more sensible for this, because all I have to do is select the keyframes. And if I just select this again, just to show you guys what it does, we can easily tweak the complete graph editor, and we don't need to actually do this manually. So it saves a lot of time. I have mentioned the link in the description if you want to go ahead and download it. Again, it's free. So that is looking pretty nice. Now the start animation, I don't want this kind of animation for the start. So I'll hit F9, go into the graph editor, and this time I'm going to tweak this to the left. So there we go. Something like that looks much better, as you can see. Also, it looks a bit too fast. to me. So what I can do is select all the keyframes, hold Alt and stretch them out just like so. So we have a really nice animation, as you can see. So it stays there, and then we have a further movement. Pretty nice. Let's add some final touches to this. So I'll add a light leak. Again, you can download the complete project file from the link in the description below. I'll hit F4. Let's change the blending mode to screen and bring down the opacity to 50. So we have a really nice light leak, as you can see. I can hit Control D to duplicate it. Let's put this just like so. Looking very, very nice. Now, final thing that we need to do is animate the background strips. So I'll go to around 1 second. Let's select all the reels. Hit Control Shift H so I can see the control layers. Hit P, create a keyframe on the position. Go back and let's pull them out one by one. So first one, I'm going to pull this out just like that. Select this one, maybe pull this out. This one, I'll pull this out like so. So you can hold Shift and pull that out. This one, let's pull this out. This one, let's pull this out, or maybe and pull it out in a different way. No, I think the strip way is much better, so I'll pull this out just like so. Okay, so that is looking much better. Let's select the keyframes, hit F9, go into the graph editor, and let's pull this points to the left. So now we have this really nice animation, as you can see. I can also stretch the keyframes according to the first main reel slide. So I can pull this just like so, and let's see what we have. As you can see, it's looking very, very nice. Pretty cool, eh? Now, one last small detail that I want to add, not a detail, basically a small movement that I want to add is I want the background strip to keep moving continuously. So in order to do that, I'm going to select one strip. Let's solo that up, and add an effect called transform. And basically I just want to animate this position like slowly, So let's go at the very start, create a keyframe on the position of the transform property, go at the very end, and let's give it a little bit of movement. So now it animates in, and we have a small movement in the position, maybe a bit more, I guess. Alrighty, right. That is looking good. Let's select this, hit Control C and paste it. Make sure your time indicator is at the very start. Select all the other reels. Let's solo them up, hit Control V, and let's see what we have. So you can see we have a small movement, and it gives a sense of depth as well into the scene. So let's preview this really quick. And there we go. Looks super cool, very easy to create, and you can add in your own photos, your own images. Now, one last thing that we need to do is right here, you can see our images are getting cropped up, and as you can see, I want this look at the edges as well. So to fix this, I'm going to go into my reel, hit Control K, and let's increase the width a little bit, unless and until I can see those edges, and hit OK. Let's go back into our final comp, and there we go. Maybe I'll go into my reel again. Let's see if it's getting cropped. Yep. So to fix this, I can select my third image, hit Control Shift H. Let's select the mask, and using the arrow keys I can just fix this. Same, I can do this right over here as well. If I hit M, select the mask, select the points, and let's bring them in. Let's go, and a bit, hit Control K again. Let's bring down the size a bit, and make sure there are no spaces in the edges. Boom, there we go, looking perfect. So that is a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you are still here, please do consider subscribing to the channel and also press that bell notification icon so you never miss any new update on the channel. Also, if you want, you can support us on Patreon. The link will be in the description, and follow me on Instagram at dope.motion. And I know that is just too many things to do, so make sure you just go right now and do it, because why not? It's free. Anyways, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.